Hi, this is Alexander from Racefist. You're currently listening to Mosh Pit on Sin. Have a good time.
Hey, I'm Stefan from the Mosh Pit on Sin. My interview guest, Alexander Hagman, or Ali for short, is the vocalist for Swedish hardcore punk band Raised Fist. The band will be returning to Australia and New Zealand for some shows in late November and early December. Ali, welcome to the Mosh Pit.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
You're welcome. So, are you touring at the moment, or you're ready to go on tour, or you're at home at the moment?
Right now I'm at home. We've been playing a couple of shows this summer, just bigger festivals and things like that. So the next show is in about 2 weeks from now in Germany, and then we play Hungary and a little bit here and there. So that's what we do this summer, and then we take a break, and then we're going to go to Australia.
Are these your first New Zealand shows?
Yes, this is the first time we're there, and we are very happy to include New Zealand this time because we haven't been there before. None of us have, so it's great.
So, and your shows later in the year, they won't be the first time you've toured Australia. So, what do you like about coming here and the Australian audiences?
It's going to be cold in December here, where I'm at right now. So apart from the weather, good friends there. We toured with a lot of people from Australia. I mean, both in Australia and it will be nice to catch up with them.
So your sixth record, From the North, it came out a year and a half ago. So how have fans reacted to the songs both on the album and in the live shows?
I think the reaction has been really good. Yeah, they like it. They like it a lot. I think these songs, they do really good live as well. Listening to it on CD is one thing, or digital, it's one thing, but when you see it live, it sort of makes more sense. So, it's been really a good response so far, both from press, media, and the fans as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I read online that it took you 5 years or so to write this album.
It wasn't like we just sat down one day and said, okay, let's write, and then we did it every day for 5 years. That's not how it works when these delays happen. It's more of like we have a lot of things to do, and we've been touring a lot with the last album, and we were supposed to record it, I think it was on the third year after Veil of Ignorance, but we didn't. Something happened. I mean, you have to connect with the producer. You have everything just have to make sense, and everything has to be right. I mean, my daughter came 2 years ago, so that was also a thing we had to adapt. So it's just a life event that makes the schedule for a huge thing like writing and producing and recording an album. So that's the delay. Not that we have been taking like a half year writing one song at the time. That's not how we work. We write everything in about 2 weeks, and then we go and we hit the studio. We're in the studio for 1 month. So that's basically the whole process. Apart from the fact that you record small snippets of music as you go along life, but just to compile everything and make it into songs, that's just a couple of weeks at home. So it's not a long process.
So around 2009, you criticised the EU directive on the enforcement of intellectual property rights in EU countries. So for those who don't know, can you tell us what this directive actually means and why you were critical of it?
Well, it just made Sweden... It's not the directive itself I criticize. I criticize the directive because it touch a matter that I think is counterproductive in a way, and that's the whole thing with the intellectual property. I think it's a massive focus on the earning money and making money out of your music instead of just being an artist and getting along. I don't know where this fucking thing, and they chase around kids in Sweden right now. They put so much money into chasing teenagers and share music online, etc. And I mean, they should be focusing on rapists and child molesters and murderers instead. But still, the majority of the money goes into police just harassing normal people, and I think it's ridiculous. So the whole thing is criticized by me, and I also criticize. People can make money out of merchandise. They can make money when they play shows, and they can also make money from digital sales or CDs or vinyls and whatever. You have to adapt to how the situation is right now, and you can't just force people into buying CDs, for example. And at that time, this was a bit earlier. Today we have a development since that comment I made in the TV on TV. I mean, today Spotify and iTunes and digital platforms are much widely spread. But at that time, and a couple of years before that, business sort of tried to force people into buying plastic CDs, like physical examples, and that they were just clinging into that kind of, and I just thought it was like counterproductive. And that, because people, if they get the music digitally, why should you be sending plastic shit around with big trailers and having this massive impact on the environment and shit like that? That's just fucking business greed. So the whole thing is what I wanted to attack with that, not just the directive itself. The directive itself is just it's rules and rules that we have to apply in Swedish law. Not such a big difference really to what we already had, but the EU is they strengthen the whole IP rules, say. So I was just thinking it's a waste of resources, to be honest.
What's the hardcore punk scene like in Sweden and I guess the other Scandinavian countries and Nordic countries as well?
I think they have a good thing going. It's not as strong as it was when I was young and when I was a teenager, and I participated in the hardcore punk movement like I'm not doing today. So, but it's kind of different also. I mean, the music has gone from hardcore into death metal. The bands play death metal and call it hardcore today also. So it's kind of a big step from what I experienced in the late 90s and so. But I think they have a good thing going. As long as they stay together, stick together, they have a positive mindset and a positive thing in their music and what they do. I think it's really good. So it's. Yeah, I think it's overall good.
Yeah, how would you compare the hardcore punk scene to, say, the heavy metal scene? I mean, I feel like so many bands that I receive for airplay seem to come from Sweden and other Scandinavian and Nordic countries.
In Sweden, it's not a big... It's really, I mean... as far as my area is concerned and where we grew up and how we played the whole thing, we got along really well with heavy metal and death metal and grindcore and everything. That was just the scene was the same. I mean, you could put on a hard record and everyone was just enjoying it. So that was. But I know that was a bigger difference when you went south from where I'm from, and when you got down to Umeå, where Refused and these guys had their thing, there was a little bit of difference. So yeah, and now I totally forgot what the question was. I started thinking and then I forgot. What was the question there?
Oh, the question was basically comparing the heavy metal scene in Sweden, the Scandinavian and Nordic countries, to the hardcore scene, because there seems to be a massive, despite the relatively small population of all those countries, I seem to receive so many heavy metal bands in my inbox to play. You're probably one of the first, if only, hardcore punk acts from Sweden or Scandinavian countries that I can think of that we've received.
Haven't you received any other hardcore or punk bands?
Not that I could think of. I mean, it's possible that might have overlooked them, but I can.
Can I mention a few names?
Absolutely.
Have you heard Millencolin?
Millencolin. Oh yes, I have heard of them. I haven't really listened to them, but yes, I have heard of them.
No Fun at All?
No, I haven't heard of them. Yeah, maybe for the
Okay,
listeners.
have
Yeah,
you
for the
heard
listeners.
Refused?
Refused. Yes, of course. Yeah, for the listeners, you can just do a few more that you know.
Yeah, I think also we have a lot of Body Jar. Have you heard of that band?
Body Jar, no. I guess I'm more in. I grew up
They
more in the
promote.
hardcore and metal myself, so I didn't really grow up on the punk scene.
Okay, Body Jar is an Australian band, I think, but they were released on Burning Heart Records in Sweden. So if you want to check up on the Swedish scene, I think Swedish punk rock and hardcore has had a huge influence on Australian, the Australian punk and hardcore music scene. Millet just toured there. I saw their Instagram and the Facebook feed, and there was like thousands of people coming to their shows. They play Big Day Out and things like that. So the old skate punk scene, Sweden had a really huge skate punk scene with these guys, and also hardcore. I mean, Raised Fist, Refused. We had Breach. We had a lot of different things coming from a little small area up north here where I live. But today, I don't know. The hardcore scene's kind of dead in that kind of way that it was before. So, like I said, it's they have a thing, but it's not. It doesn't look like hardcore to me. It's more developed into something that I don't recognize as the old hardcore scene that was happening in '90. Yeah, after that.
Okay, so can you recommend any other, maybe some non-hardcore, some non-punk bands for us to check out, for our listeners to check out?
From Sweden?
Oh yeah, just any. Yeah, from Sweden, from any ones that you're listening to, from any country right now.
I can't. I don't know.
Should we narrow it down to just the Swedish bands, maybe? Maybe some Swedish metal bands.
Swedish metal bands. Well, Swedish metal bands. I listen to I listen to grindcore and I don't listen to these metal bands like In Flames and things like that. If that's the kind of thing you're looking for.
Oh yeah, so any of those grindcore bands?
Well, I listen to Fleshed. That's an old Swedish band.
Yeah.
Defleshed and Nagelfar. Yeah, I think that those bands, Defleshed. Listen, go to YouTube and Google or YouTube Defleshed. You will find You will find good shit coming there. That's our drummer's former band as well, and I think it's really good. That's what I enjoy.
Raised Fist's latest album, From the North, is out right now, and the band will be touring Australia and New Zealand in November and December. The Melbourne show is on Saturday, December the 3rd at Max Watts, at the Max Watts venue. That is an 18-plus show. So thanks so much for joining us, Ali. But we'll end with a song of your choice from the latest album. Ali, what is your favorite song on From the North, and can you tell us why you chose that song?
Yeah, I think Chaos is the best song on the album. I had a good time recording it. I was up to nighttime, and there was the studio was closed, and there's a middle section there where I sing, when I feel down and low in the city of cold, etc. And I just recorded that. I just put one track on it, and then I put another overlay, and then a third overlay on it, just as a sketch for the producer who came in early mornings, so when I was asleep. So that was just like, okay, this is how something in the lines of what I'm looking at recording. But when I woke up and I came in and I said, did you listen to it? And he said, yeah, we're going to take it. And I said, okay, well, let's record it then, for real. And he said, no, it is for real. The thing you recorded yourself is what's going to end up on the album, because it sounds a little bit... It's not ultra clean. It's not pitch perfect. It gives me a kind of punk rock vibe to it, and that's on the whole album. So we're going to stick to that, and that's why one little detail that makes me love this song a little extra. But the song itself, the whole, I'm so satisfied with the vocal setup and the riff. The guitars is just fucking. Jimmy and Dino wrote the guitars on this, and it must be one of the best things they've ever written. It's razor blades on your fucking eyelids. That's how this guitars sound to me.
Awesome. We'll leave it there. Thanks so much, Ali. Enjoy your day or night, whatever time it is there.
Yeah, take care, brother. See you.